The Taliban took over Afghanistan. Here's the question I get from a lot of people. How everything happened so fast? Well, I wish I had the answer. I didn't know. I went to bed at 3. I woke up the next day. I see the President Ghani is gone and there is new Taliban at the presidential palace. Well, here are a few things I know. I have been in contact the past several weeks with Afghan generals and commanders across Afghanistan. I followed the Afghan peace process the past 2 years, and I followed it until even today and what exactly happened in Afghanistan. Number one, Afghanistan was given to the Taliban. The president of Afghanistan fled and he left his own people. He betrayed his own people. He betrayed his own generals. And he took $40 million, according to resources that told me, and without any resistance. A lot of provinces fall into Taliban without any fight, without any resistance. They surrendered to them. Ismail Khan was captured based on some sort of deal that was happening. Atta Muhammad Noor and General Dostum in northern province of Afghanistan, Mazar-e-Sharif, they were captured. And all these leaders have saying that our hands were tied. That's the word the Minister of Defense of Afghanistan, Bismillah Khan, mentioned. Our hands were tied from behind. So that is number one. The president of Afghanistan betrayed his own people, and he left his generals alone. Look, the U.S. intelligence or the leaked documents from Pentagon indicated that the Taliban could take Afghanistan within 90 days. Well, within hours, they took it over. That leads us that there has to be some sort of assessments on the U.S. intelligence capabilities because the American people needs to understand that their intelligence agencies have the right equipments, right staff, and right people, and right analysts. We didn't want another Benghazi. We did not want another Afghanistan style to happen in the future. Thousands, hundreds of Americans and NGOs and contractors have been trapped in Afghanistan because of a miscalculation and wrong intelligence. Number two, the Taliban, yes, they are in Kabul, Afghanistan. They have taken over. They have control in every single part of the country except Panjshir and some part of Takhar province, where the son of the legendary commander, national hero of Afghanistan, Ahmad Massoud, is right now in Panjshir with VP or Vice President of Amrullah Saleh, who also fled Kabul the day that President Ghani fled to Tajikistan, and he was turned down and he went to Oman. So there is some sort of resistance over there, as some people call it, the last hope, or some people call it as a resistance to gain and resistance to be able to gain some sort of power in the government. We can discuss more into that later, but in Kabul right now, the Taliban have issued statements that you're not going to hurt anyone. The Afghan security forces and other civilian agencies must go to work. But their strategy right now is to not kill, to get the support of the international community. Their strategy right now is to be more recognized in the world. And their plan and action is to not hurt people. So to reach their strategy, they have these series of actions. They are really organized in Kabul city, unlike the past 20 years of the Afghan government. They have committees and they have their own National Guard. They go to different places. They are bringing the military equipment, the guns. They give them receipts. In terms of what will happen to the future, I think the Taliban haven't announced a president yet. That tells me a lot in why. I think, number one, they do not want to lose the credibility in the world. They want to be recognized by the world. In order to be recognized, they have to have some sort of support from the other political communities in Afghanistan. Because, look, the United States, although left Afghanistan, but diplomatically are still willing to support Afghanistan. The Northern Alliance, the different ethnic groups and the technocrats, many leaders in Afghanistan, they still have a voice. And I think the Taliban also showed some interest to work with them. The former president of Afghanistan, Hamid Karzai, is right now in Kabul. The chairman of the Peace Council, Abdullah, is in Kabul right now. The two leaders did not fled. Whatever they could work, inclusiveness, government, some sort of power sharing, whatever power sharing structure of regime, government. Look, most of the Mujahideen leaders who are right now in Pakistan or in Turkey or some in Panjshir or different places, they all fought, most of them, against the Russians. They all wanted Islamic regime. They did not want the communist. Today, the Taliban, look, they said, we don't want Americans, we want an Islamic regime. So if they both wanted the Islamic regime, they fought against two superpowers, they could work, they could compromise. And I think it's time, as President Biden mentioned, Afghans needs to work together. They have to put their differences away. And I think if the Taliban wants to make peace, they want to bring peace. And I think they took the government within hours. And I think it's the perfect time. Putting the trust and I think at the same time the energy and the confidence, you just have to work on it. A lot of these Taliban fighters are young adults, and there are people who were grown in war. They have a lot of grievance. Most of them have lost a family member or two in the war. At the same time, from this side of the conflict, a lot of Afghan soldiers lost their life. So I think it's enough for the Afghans. 40 years of war, and a lot of leaders and a lot of presidents have came and gone, and the people are tired of war. Am I supporting the Taliban regime? No. What I'm trying to propose here is that the Afghans take this opportunity, this platform, and build and make peace and build confidence and work together. They are brothers on each side, and it's time for that. And I think that's what the Taliban are asking. That's what the Afghans on each side are asking. And eventually, when the Taliban take over, eventually was a green light from the U.S. and other international community that they took over Afghanistan. If U.S. wanted to prevent them, they could have bombed them with B-52s, but U.S. left, international community left, and it's Afghans themselves to fix their own regime. One of the main reasons I get this question a lot, why the Afghan regime and that government collapsed so fast? I think one of the biggest reasons was the prolonged corruption. You were talking to people with millions of dollars. They come to Washington, D.C., they go to different places, Dubai, Canada. These people had a lot of money. They buy products that you will not be able to afford with a regular income in the United States. That the currency is in dollars. How in the world you make such amount of money in Afghanistan that you buy these products, you go to fancy restaurants, you go business class, first class? That was the number one that I think Afghanistan and people will never ever forget, the corruption that fed into terrorism, the corruption that brought the society into its knees, the corruption that made the people to join the Taliban, another extremism group, because they were so tired of the regime and they were so angry. I remember 2 years ago when I was writing a special report, I interviewed one of the teachers in Kabul, and she told me, what peace? And I said, well, I'm talking about the peace process. This was the beginning. And she said, look, everybody is looking to make money in this country. But I think in this new chapter, any way the Taliban or the other political leaders and the human rights and the UN watchers, they must prevent another corruption. This is a new chapter. I think Taliban have been pretty good about this, but at the same time, corruption ended President Ghani's regime with his centralization of power, with allocation of resources to his own allies and closest friends, and I think that did not work a favor.